Okay, I am back. Back with I'm back. I'm back with Back to the Future, and I'm going to do the. This is the big 1/8 reference that's in Back to the Future. Okay, I'm linking it to the 1st of August. It doesn't necessarily mean the 1st of August. Of course, if you follow my channel, I use a decode chart called the Chart of Lorraine, and that has at the center of that chart, okay, it's all to do with balance, and at the center of that chart are the numbers 11 and 18. Okay, these two numbers balance each other. 18 is the number of man. 11 is in the instant that I'm talking about now is a reference to the spiritual side of reality. So we have the 11, which is the spiritual side of reality, and we have the 18, which is representing physical man. Okay, think phallus and think two bulls and a phallus symbol. Okay, the number 18. Okay, right. With that being said, we had an event, didn't we, that took place and gave us a very big 11 reference. Okay, and funnily enough, when I'm talking about 9/11, I'm talking about the idea of us losing that balanced 11 idea. Okay, well, I'm talking about the idea of us losing the holy, the spiritual side of reality in terms of the Holy Spirit, and then us diving into the unholy spirit, into the matrix. Okay, so what we've got going on in the first Back to the Future is we have this same scene that's played out. Okay, and of course Marty, I mean the bit for me that does it is when he grabs that skateboard from the kid and rips what appears to be I think it's an orange crate that looks like a tower shape with three little things sticking out of it, like a Trinity sign, like the what was I say, like the trident that goes up the side of the Twin Towers. When he rips that thing off of the skateboard, okay, we have some symbolism there of maybe of towers being removed. Okay, so that idea of the number 11 being removed. Okay, I'm sorry I'm waffling so much, but we have that same scene playing out in Back to the Future 2. Okay, but the scene is slightly different because instead of a skateboard we have a hoverboard. Okay, and obviously the connection between Hover and Hoover is very close. Okay, and of course the Hoover Dam, of course, has a big lake in front of it or behind it, whichever way you look at it. And in this scene we have the courthouse with a body of water in front of it. Okay, and the courthouse is the dam. Okay, the four pillars are at the Hoover Dam. There's two inlet towers on each side of the Hoover Dam, the 1111. Okay, and that 1111 is trapped inside Lake Mead, inside the dam. Okay, the 1111 is again a point of rebalance. All right, and that's the point where we need to get to. So with all that wiffle waffle, right, I'm going to show you where this 1/8 is. Okay, super important. In fact, I probably should have had my chart up, but unfortunately I've got paint filled up with this image here. Okay, now one thing to note just before I move on is that right at the start of this scene we have a reference to the royal wedding. Okay, the white wedding. Okay, as Billy Idol would call it. And the royal wedding took place on the 29th of July. So the 29, I've been going on about the number 29 for quite a while now. It's been mostly connected to 129 and the 129th day of the year. But again, we're back with the number 29. The reason why the number 29 is so important, again, is because 11 and 18 sum to 29, and the individual components there sum to 2 and 9. Okay, so 11 sums to 2, 18 sums to 9. individually they sum to 2 and 9, and if you add the two together, they also add up to 29. Okay, important. The 29, okay, a very important number in terms of balance, right? And it's referenced here. Now, what is referenced though is the white wedding. That is the idea of going into the matrix, right? That's the idea of, and it's not necessarily a bad thing initially. Okay, what happens though is over time that thing corrupts. So the idea of the white wedding is starting over again. Okay, with that being said, this is 4 days before 8/1, okay, before the 1st of August. So that is important in terms of like a Lazarus rebirth ritual, okay, and of course with Lazarus and Las Vegas, okay, similar ideas, similar sounding, and so this is important to note that this is at the start of this thing, and it's re-referenced again with the newspaper, and there's a couple other 8/1 references that I will show you in some later decodes that are all in this scene, okay? But for right now, I'm just going to focus in on, let's go to it, on this thing here, okay? I've got it in paint, and what I've done is, in order to show you where this 8/1 is, what I have to do is I have to go back to the first, back to 1955 here, and show you what is on this thing in 1955, and then it will make sense, okay? So I'm gonna talk about this a little bit here in a minute, the symbolism that's in here, but let's just get the 1/8 out of the way, and you can probably see it now, okay? If you just looked at this by itself, it's difficult to see a prominent 1/8. You can see the 8 really easily, okay? So the 8 is, of course, right here, okay? So we can see that really easily, okay? That, without a doubt, to me, that is an 8, right? And so if we come over to this, to the 1955 now, to the Atomic Kid that's playing at the theatre, okay, there's our 1. Okay, so it's as simple as, it's actually on here, still on here, but it's difficult to see it. Now, looking at the two together, side by side, it's really easy to see. Okay, so there's our 1/8. Okay, both times here, Marty's being reborn when he makes that jump. Okay, actually, but I say both times, it's just this time. Okay, when he does the jump. But we have that reference here. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about what's in here. So we've got the 8/1. It's done. It's out of the way. It's a pretty big 8/1, I think, right? So let's take that stuff off of there. Now let's talk about other things that are in here, okay? So we do have a dam reference in here. Let me show you the dam reference. It's this thing right here, okay? This stair step. And what you'll notice is it almost looks like there is blood coming over this staircase here. Okay, that's what it looks like, right? Now, remember that Lake Mead is filled with the Colorado River. Okay, the Colorado River, the Red River, color red, Colorado, is the Red River. Okay, the River of Blood. Okay, you see it coming down over here, and I know there's some people now making the connection with The Shining. Yes, there are several references in The Shining to the River of Blood. This is coming down over this stair step here. This is a dam reference. Okay, I'm going to show you where this is now. Let's go to it. I've got it up here somewhere. Easier for me just to show you it. Here we go. The St. Francis Dam. Okay, this thing happened to collapse on, what was it? It was 312. Okay, now remember, 213 is the start of Lucas numbers. 213 is our day of the year that 8/1 is on. Okay, the 1st of August is the 213th day of the year. Okay, so this is important. Let me show you the picture now of, I think they might have a better picture of it down here. What was that? There it is. Okay, you can, well, let's do this one first, and we'll be able to scroll back. Now, from front on, you can see there are steps there. This is what's left of the dam after it's washed away. Okay, so that thing collapses on 3/12. Okay, and this is a side view. They had a better view of this thing. Hang on. That's slightly better. I don't know. Anyway, you can see this is a stair step, and it's a sort of monolithic structure that's left after the rest of the dam is washed away. Okay, that I think is the reference there. Okay, this is almost like become like the altar now, like the high altar, where the sacrifice takes place and the blood flows over the thing. Okay, but again, the sacrifice that man has to make is the sacrifice of the ego. It's the sacrifice of the metaphoric child that we've created that's gone out of control. Okay, all your ideas, all your little babies, all your little ideas that you have, all the little ideas that we've had, generated from the false ego, yeah, part of the false ego. That's the thing that has to go. That's the twin that has to be sacrificed as well. Okay, this is the idea behind this stuff. Okay, the idea of letting go of all the false anyway, I can't. Anyway, they call that the tombstone as well, which was interesting. Because of course the tombstone, there's the dam before it breaks. Okay, so the tombstone, of course, is the thing that has to be. This whole thing really is the tombstone here, and that's the thing that has to be broken. Okay, in Back to the Future 3, they have that tombstone that gets broken. Okay. Again, what more do I want to say about this? Let's go back to the actual pictures, and I'll talk a little bit more about them. So this is, blood coming over the dam here. Okay, this is the Colorado River running over the dam. Okay, and that's what's left of the dam after it's washed away. So all to do with rebirth. This actually, to me, this little thing here, it kind of reminds me of a baby right here. I don't know if it reminds you guys of a baby or not or what, but that, just the way that looks, I'm not sure about it. It's also, if you look at it, it appears to be a blood moon, okay, here, and then it looks like we've got about a quarter of a blood moon. If we were to section this into, I don't know, if you were to add in, the rest of that one, are we at, to me, I look like we've got about a quarter of it, maybe. That's not quite so easy to determine, but that's what it looks like to me. So a 1 and a quarter reference. Okay. Again, the 1 and a quarter is the one that comes every 4 years to rebalance the calendar. Okay, the leap year. Okay, and 1 and a quarter is the CRM 114. Okay, 114. Okay, and remember 114. If you do your days and count on 9/11, 9/12, 9/13, and 9/14. 14 again. We've gone, and I don't know, but that should be the 114th day of the year as well. Okay, so see how that works? Because it's 100 and, oh no, that's not the 114th day of the year. Sorry, beg your pardon there. Hang on a minute. Let me just go to it and we can see what it is. What do I want to do? I've got it up here somewhere. Hang on. What is that? 14th, 108. Sorry. Yeah, should have been going the other way for 114. 114th is the 8th of September. Interesting with the Queen. Okay, back to this. Okay, anything else I want to say about it? We've got some references to the desert, obviously, with this kind of the sun, this sort of Arizona native sort of Indian art here with the sun here. Okay, looks like it's starting to rise. Okay. Interestingly, again, with the heart, with this moon that's here, if you see this part here, let's go around it, and there seems to be a half moon here. Okay, which again is interesting, the moon being in balance. And again, there seems to be a half moon at the center of the sun as well. So that's the, again, it's just the idea of the moon coming back into balance. The blood moon is the moon coming back into balance. So, 50/50s. There is also a number 5 in here. Okay, with the yellow 8, and I think that's an 85 reference. So we have the 5 and the 8 intertwined, so it's 85 inside there. And if we go from our 1955, but if we go from 55, which is the 5th of May, we would get to, if we add on 85 days, it takes us to the White Wedding. Okay, it takes us to 7/29, and then if we go 88 days, okay, it's going to take us to August the 1st. Okay, so that is pretty important as well with the 85 that's in there. Was there anything else I wanted to say about this? Not really. Does it say a Belvan retrospective on there? Belvan. Unbelievable. Okay, the bell, obviously, the Belvan is obviously the womb. It's the container that we're in. It's just another reference to the dam, basically, or to the feminine. Okay. What have I forgotten? Yeah, this looks like a baby, I thought. Obviously, we've got the river flowing. I think that's it. I don't think there was really anything else that was majorly on my mind for talking about this. So again, here we have the one, which is made up of, obviously it looks like the lights that they shone up from ground zero as well, and obviously there's 4 beams here, 3, 4, and again, is that referencing the 211s, the 4 towers that are inside the Hoover Dam? Okay, I'm thinking so. Okay, when Marty does go back from here, the Atomic Kid, okay, and shoots through the screen. This is the theater. They're playing the Atomic Kid here. He enters it's the Assembly of Christ back in 1985. So again, the idea of coming back to God, coming back to Christ. I think that's it. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to make this too long. I don't think there was anything major that I wanted to put in here that was like that I really needed to discuss mega. But let me just show you one more thing. Let me just go back to here. Let me show you a couple of number jumps real quick. So this is an important number jump. So as I was saying, August the 1st, right, is our potential Hoover Dam date, and then September the 11th. Okay, now this is pretty nuts. Look at my number jump here. Okay, 41 days. 41 days. Where does 4-1 show up, or 1-4 show up? We just saw it with the 1-4. I thought with the blood moon there in that in the Art Deco looking art museum, billboard thing, whatever the hell that thing's called at the top of the sign there. But where else do we see the 1-4? Okay, and the place where we see it is on the clock tower. This is when the lightning stops the clock. Okay, 10:04. Same numerology here. So that for me is pretty mental as well. Okay, that we have that number jump between two dates, a potential date here and a date that's already, we know, and we've got that 4-1 showing up again with the, this blooming it's just nuts. I don't know what to say. Let me show you two more interesting number jumps. If I go 100 days, obviously with the dollar bill, 100 pennies, 100 cents, I've done several other 100-day jumps. This is important. Look where it takes us. It takes us to the 9th of November. Okay, another 9/11 number. Okay, and of course, if we do the 101, which is Hoover Dam Gematria, it takes us to November the 10th. Okay, the 10/11 again. Dollar bill. This is encoded in the dollar bill. This is pi right here. Okay, this is the 314th day of the year. 11/11, which is the next day, the 315th day of the year. This relates to balance. This relates to God, that number. I've got to do a video on that. I'll get around to doing it here pretty quick. But again, what we're dealing with is the two 11s again inside the dam. The next day after this is pi right here, and the next day after 11/11. Okay. Again, let me show you just a couple more things, and then we'll be done. Actually, I've got another thing to show you actually in just a second. So this is the famous scene, okay, where Marty's just done the leap and we got the fire trail. And of course, here's the 9. If you can see my cursor, here's the 9 and here's the 11. This is the famous. I don't know who actually ever came up with that first. Was that Finiston Porus that came up with that first? I don't know. Whoever came up with it first. Anyway, it's super interesting. This is now quite old news, this 9/11 that's in here. What else is in here is there's obviously the figure pi, if you can see my cursor. So we have the reference to pi, and I definitely think that's a reference to pi because it's just the way it's shot and the way the trail is. I wonder how many times I had to do that to get it burning just right, And then we also have the 811 that's in here because this car, Doc's car, the car that they chose for Doc's car was a Packard 8 convertible. Okay, so the Packard 8, so we have the 811 in here as well. So pretty interesting stuff. But and what the reference I was going to make is this idea of pi right here, 314. Again, pretty interesting. But there's also another couple of 8s in here. Okay, let me show you. By the way, there's a lamppost on this side, but I don't think it's a lamppost on the other side. Even though, and I'm going to show you, I think I mentioned this in my last video. I don't know why it's like that. This film, they do not make continuity errors. I don't think they make errors. I think everything's done deliberately in this film for sure. So I'm going to show you something. Where do I want to go to here? I think it was. I don't know. Let's try here. This might be good. There we go. That again real quick so we can get it to the right spot. You can see it's tied to one lamppost here, but it comes over and there's not a lamppost. I can just barely make the wire out. You probably can't make it, but it looks like it's coming right between, again, the Bluebird Motel and what is the barbershop sign. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's the barbershop. Hang on a minute. Anyway, we can see Okay, the line, the wire is coming across to here, this big tall pole, which I think is an electric pole. You really got to go look at the film itself. But of course, there's a lamppost further down, and there's a lamppost here, but we're not a lamppost here. And I think that there's something important about it. This is an electric pole, and there is a slight reference to the double cross of Lorraine with the electric pole. I think it's got two, or telegraph pole if you like. It might be a telegraph pole, but it's got the two. Yeah, it actually might be. I don't know if it's an electric pole or a telegraph pole, or whether they put everything on the same poles. But yeah, it could be a reference to the double cross. It could actually be a reference to that idea of Lorraine again, or just the table that I use, even maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we got an 8 up here on the shield. Okay, so this is pretty important. And we have the barbershop sign. I'll just run you through it. It's a phallic symbol, and at the bottom of it, there's two rectangles, or at least there's a rectangle and what looks like a square, and what you end up with is a five-pointed, what am I on about? An 8-pointed, you end up with an 8-pointed, it's not really a star, but it's an 8-pointed kind of a rectangle with a square behind it sort of thing. Okay, so there's 8 points on that thing right at the bottom here. So again, the 8-1 is right here as well. Very, very close. Very, very close to, you know, this other side of the wire here. I think I got to leave it there for the decode. I'm going to show you there are a couple more 8-1s, believe it or not, in the or at least there's one really good one, and it's a reference to the dollar bill as well, in the hoverboard scene, and I'll do a separate video on that because otherwise I'll be here all night. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Alright, cheers, bye.